Sifkat and Hatzvi-Bais. So we're talking about what happens when a woman says, there's a couple of cases. One is she says in front of her husband, you divorced me. Another one is that she accepts kedushin from another man. She accepts a betrothal, meaning something of value, and he says, "You are betrothed to me," with this thing, whatever, with this thing that's worth a pruta or more. And she does that in front of her husband. That these things, they show that because a woman would not have the chutzpah to lie about this matter in front of him. Then we had where the Ramah talks about the idea that according to one opinion, when we say that we accept her, that we take her word, it doesn't mean we take her word for all matters, meaning she can't now go marry other people, and she can't now go accept her ksuba from him, right there, her divorce settlement from him. But rather only it makes that she now needs it requires that she now needs a get from the new guy also. From this new guy, just in case, because who knows, maybe she's married to him also, or she's married to him. Maybe it's true, but we don't take her word 100%. So she's basically, we count it to stringent, like she's married to both of them. Then we said that, but in these times where people have more chutzpah, we don't trust them anymore. However, we said that what does it mean we don't trust her? Some say that we don't trust her means not on her word alone, but there's different opinions whether it's the one opinion is if there's other facts that back it. Another opinion says, but if she says it in front of a beis din, that she wouldn't have the chutzpah to do even today. Furthermore, we said that if the beis din senses that he's just being difficult, and they're meaning from what they come to a conclusion that really it's true what she's saying. And he's just trying to block her just to so that she shouldn't be able to marry somebody else and this kind of thing. So then it's fine. So now he says. So now the mechaber continues. Aval im kitcha acher sheloi bifnei bailo. But if she betroths another man, not in front of her husband, before all the things we're talking about is in front of her husband. Now we say, what if it's not in front of her husband? Then ein kedushin teifsim bo. Is gosh kedushin. Then there's no kedushin. She doesn't need a divorce from him, even nothing. What until there's a proof that she was divorced, and only then can she then receive a new betrothal from somebody else. Shekol shalei b'fanav me'iza, because as long as she's not in front of him, she's going to have the chutzpah, because the chutzpah is only when specifically she's in front of him. So now shalei b'fnei bailo, not in front of her husband, says in Hatzvi-Bais, the Ehven be'rura. V'yeshli stapik mahadin because of igeres the bailo gerashtani. It's unclear what would be the case. What if she wrote in a letter to him that you divorced me? She knows for sure this letter will reach him, be read by him. So in this case, So in this case, do we also say she wouldn't have the chutzpah and she's trusted? Or according to those that hold that since she's not the maiz, doesn't have the chutzpah, right? But this is not like that. This is not considered a case that has so much chutzpah because it's in a letter, right? Like we said before, she texts him, "You divorced me." And all. Furthermore, it's unclear. So that's one case. It's unclear. Furthermore, it's unclear. But what if she says to another man, not in front of her husband, but to a different man, my husband divorced me in front of you. You witnessed it, and my get. And I lost my get. Which is she trusted because this is something that is known to him. And she wouldn't have the chutzpah to lie in front of him because he knows you're lying straight to his face. or is it specifically to the husband, in front of the husband, the havi dovra negelai, that it's something that affects him, the other person, even though you're lying to his face, but it's not about something that affects him. The husband, it affects him. So he loy me iza b'panel mashenkin in shacharina, where so she wouldn't have chutzpah for him. Where on the other hand, in front of somebody else, she would. Ulam, and furthermore, we said before that really a husband is also different because there's the case of there's the idea that she's beholden to him, right? Just like a person before his bal chayv, just before somebody in front of a lender, that the lender did him a favor, so he's beholden to him. He's like so that's why that's an additional reason of chutzpah. So, where in this case also, even though it doesn't mention it in this sifkatan, but also would be a difference between the other person and the husband, because this other person is not beholden to him. But if she comes before a basin and says, "I got divorced in front of you, and you were from the ones who arranged this divorce," but there years later the afal das al peskim to be in the fun of the ba'inon. So the afla das al peskim to be in the fun of dafka. Right, so then we could say even those who hold that dafka has to be in front of him, meaning that a letter wouldn't work, etc., only specifically in front of him dafka. But even according to them, they would say that this is good. And even those who hold that was then, this isn't. But now we can't trust this because they have more chutzpah, right? Even they would, those people who hold there would admit that in front of a basin she came and says this. There would be there's no bigger chutzpah that she would come in front of a basin. People who anyways can tell they're trained to tell if people are lying, and she's saying no, you guys did the get. While karchel she'emes he diveres b'fneihem v'namenes, and so you'd have to say that she's saying the truth, and she is speaking, and she is trusted in front of them. V'yesh kosef shekol zelek shemeresh nishgars b'fneihem. Aval rakim rak meresh is gars b'fnei mecherim, and there's some that write about this. The Chazayin Lameid heard from the Hershel Meshiv. And so anyway, so if she says, "Oh, I had a divorce in front of other dayanim," this you can't mahakal bazel. Then you can't be what's it called? Not stringent. What's the other one?
Lenient.
Lenient. Yeah, that's the word. You can't be lenient. Why? Because the Avdahavi Mils the David Lui, even though it's things that are going to become that are bound to become revealed what the truth is, but still at the same time, it's not the same kind of chutzpah. And the whole problem here is the whole thing that we're trusting is dafka when there's a huge chutzpah involved. Some even say that you can be makel on this, you can be lenient on this. There's some chinon b'kai gavna ala svarish on the manis mekir davi mils avidig because you can rely on this thing of some because it's going to become revealed, and then at that point it becomes a big chutzpah. So she's gonna, Okay, anyways, ain't kedushin tefsin boss. So we say in this case, right, where she's not in front of her husband, then the kedushin, if somebody comes and it betroths her, it does not take hold. It's not effective. Mechaber sosam kan. The mechaber holds here. Kedas gimel amudei hira, like the das of the three pillars of how do you say hira, like of teaching of instruction.
Instruction, yeah, nice.
Right. Who's the three pillars of instruction? That would be the Rif, the Rambam, and the Rosh. Reiva Peiskim, as well as most of the Peiskim, among them Rashi, the Tur, Rabbi Yerucham. The Savri de Leis Hilchisa Kirav Hune. that the halacha in the Gemara is not like Huna Hasever Shagam Shalei Befonov Eina Me'izav and Menace, right? So in Gittin we see that Rabbi Huna writes, he holds that even not in front of the husband, she still won't have the chutzpah to say such a thing, right? Whereas, right, but we don't these pillars of instruction that if the Rambam and the Rosh do not hold by Rabbi Huna, and the Rashi Torah Ben Yerucham also don't hold like Rabbi Huna, and similarly this is how where the Mechaber is getting is how he's paskening. Udeloi ke Haramban, and not like the Ramban. Shechoshash ledas Rabbi Huna. The Av Shalei Befon of Tapsi Bakidush Nechumre. That Ramban, he holds he doesn't really hold like Rabbi Huna, but he says that he holds that we should be careful according to the words of Rabbi Huna, that Kedushin ain't a teifsim ba, but still for stringency it will be. So she'll still need a get just to be stringent. But rather, we don't hold like that at all, like Rabbi Huna at all, meaning that when he says Kedushin ain't teifsim ba, it's not the betrothing her is not to do anything. It means at all. It means she doesn't even need a get from him, nothing. It means zero. Right? Whereas the Ramban, even though he holds, I guess primarily like Das Rabbi Huna, Rav Huna, but he holds like we should lean like that l'chumre. Anyways, the Mechaber does not agree. The Achreinim danu b'das kama rishenim, and the Achreinim, right, the later sages, they ruled like some of the earlier sages, the Rashba, the Ran, the Ridba. Ayim gam heim seivim keharamban lochush l'das Rav Huna, where they were making rulings on whether they also hold like the Ramban, that you have that even though we don't primarily hold like Rav Huna, but we still need to be on the careful side. We accept his thing just for the stringent, to be stringent, meaning that even though she doesn't collect the ksuba and she can't get married to somebody else without a get, etc., get married to somebody else, these things, but she has to get a get from this guy, right? And so some of the achreinim, some of the later sages, they learned that the ein lachush l'shitas Ramban, kivon shishiti yichido. They said that no, because Ramban is an individual, or it's more than just a minority. It means individual, just an individual opinion. Right? Because like we see that the most of the right Rashi, Tur, Rabbi Yerucham, Rif, Rambam, Rosh, they all hold that no, we don't hold like it at all. And therefore, that's why you don't even see it in the wording of neither the Mechaber nor the Ramah. They left his wording out completely because they pay zero heed to his opinion on that matter. And some wrote the Av So, and some say that no, that's not why why the Ramah left it out. That even though the truth is that Me'ikar Adin from the according to the basic halacha, there is room to be worried about to take into account the opinion of Ramban and those that agree with him. That even not in front of him, you have to be stringent and require a get, etc., etc. So why did the Ramah not mention this? Mikivon shehevi kan, because like he brought here, yesh emrim, the opinion, shebizman hazeh inin menes afil shekibel befonov elarak bechumra. That being that nowadays, because we said there's such chutzpin yaks, even mamish in front of him, there's an opinion, right? He brings the opinion which he seems to hold by. Look, the mechaber, we understand why he didn't bring the das and Ramban, because he absolutely disagrees with it. He holds befonov, it's 100% good. We believe her 100% in front of him. Not in front of him, we believe her 0%. Right? The Ramban says no. We believe even it says that. Rab Huna says in the Gemara that we believe him even not. We believe her not in front of him. The Ramban says maybe we should keep that to be stringent. The Ramah really agrees with him, but there's no point in him bringing that, because like he already said that they become a chutzpah yag. First of all, he himself holds that even in front of him, we don't give her all that, we don't accept her word 100%, but rather only for the stringencies of it. So if that's the case, what's the point of bringing down not in front of him that you would need that? So obviously, in that case, but nowadays they're the same thing. So therefore, he didn't bring that down. There's no point in him bringing that down. Right? He brought that today, these days, you don't accept her word, only l'chumra, even in front of him, because we don't go, because we don't hold they're going to be have such chutzpah. So how much more so? It's obvious that we're not going to believe her at all in this case. Why? Because it's not in front of him even. So if even in front of him we suspect she'll have such chutzpah. So how much more so not in front of him? There are some that wrote to try to lean the matter over, so to speak. How do you say lachriya? Like to prove, kind of. But it means like right.
I would think it's, you translate it to stretch it a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, lachriya to
Well, what's
push
the
over.
no? It's like lachriya zed.
It means
just to resolve it, I guess the word, the resolve.
In context, yeah, to connect, to resolve, to
resolve. I think it's like in this context to resolve. Right.
And to affix one thing to the other.
Really, the Rishonim were not arguing at all. Why? What do you mean? Why they weren't arguing? The gam hu aim shlein is gar sheklal. Daishim v'chaykim mena ala ma'aseh she'osas al kabel kedushin u'mistam yimtzo eze amtelo shemipnei hakas osas al kain v'kadem l'zeh. Because for sure when the husband will come, right? We're talking about now, it's not in front of him. When the husband will come, and she'll admit that she really didn't he didn't divorce her, and he also says he didn't divorce her. So then the Beis Din will search and extrapolate on what she did, and meaning that she accepted the betrothal of another person, and it'll come out some kind of thing that they can lean this, so that they can hinge this on, some kind of a supporting factor. Some other facts will come out. She did it because she was angry, or similar to this, right? She got angry at her husband, so she went and was like, "Oh yeah, I'm taking a betrothal from this guy." Or similar. But if she stands in her word after this, because look, she's saying he divorced me. Okay, well, she's gonna come in front of the husband. She's still saying that or not? If when he comes and she still she's still holding by her word, also in front of her husband. So then then for sure we're worried about kedushin, at least the chumrah, at least to the stringencies. And she needs a get from both of them. And she's she's ushered on her first husband, because we suspect if her second kedushin was valid, and now she got if her first get was if we are to believe her, even though we're not believing her 100%, but we're believing her to the stringency, that means she got it. That means that we're believing her to the stringency. She got a divorce from the first one, and we're forcing her to get a divorce from the second one, which means she can no longer remarry the first husband because there's a divorce in between. There's a marriage in between. And there are those that write the af amachmirim that even according to those that are stringent when she received the betrothal not in front of her husband. This is talking about when she accepts the betrothal in public. But if she got betrothed in hidden, not before her husband, everybody holds that there's nothing to, because you see she's nervous about it, which means you can't say it. So the whole thing of a woman doesn't have chutzpah to do it doesn't apply. It's not in public. It's not in front of her husband. What? It's not such a big chutzpah, right? So that's Chav Gimel. So then the Mechaber continues. That as long as it's not in front of him, then she'll have chutzpah. It's only in front of him she won't have chutzpah. If she goes back and says in front of him, right? So we say she wasn't in front of him. She's not divorced. We don't accept it that he divorced her. So now, what if she goes back and then says it in front of him? Right, according to those that hold that in front of him, if she says it, then we believe her and she's divorced from him. So what if God does it not in front of him, and now she goes back and says it in front of him? The writes in an answer. The af al gav the hischila lema shlei b'fnei abal. Even though she began saying it not in front of him, we don't say that since in the beginning we didn't believe her, right? So now we're also not going to believe her since she's the way she started out. We didn't believe her. So now we're going to say she's going to, she already has a chazakah, right? We already have a presumption on her that she's going to lie. She says, no, why? I look at AC and Menace, but rather, but now she's trusted, right? It's like the case we had this in Eidos too, right? That if just because witnesses come before you and we don't believe their testimony, it's not the same as saying they're liars. It's just saying that their testimony didn't qualify. We cannot accept. It's like how nowadays, right? The attorneys can ask a judge to throw a certain piece of evidence out of court, right? It doesn't mean this evidence is not good evidence.
Right.
It just, for whatever reason, there's a technicality that can't be allowed in here.
It's not unequivocally or to punish someone over it.
Right, whatever, yeah. Or it was whatever it was, or they took this piece of evidence without a warrant, or right, and anything that legally you can't use that in order to
Or for example, when something's just not strong enough, like Al Capone, where they say that they had lots of smaller things that would have gotten him in trouble for his gangster activities, but nothing strong enough that could actually warrant an arrest.
Right.
Until finally, what did they catch him on? Tax evasion. Once he was brought in for tax evasion, then they piled on all the other things. The fact that he ordered the death of this guy and he shot that guy and all these other things. But l'chatchila, they didn't have enough to warrant an arrest.
Right.
It doesn't mean that the other things are not trusted at all. They're trusted, but not so strong enough. There's a strength to it. Like say chazaka is strength, I think it's very apropos in these kind of things.
Well, even in this case, even if there's zero strength, let's play devil's advocate here. Let's say we decide there's zero strength to a witness, to his testimony. Okay, but that doesn't disqualify the witness himself. His testimony is disqualified.
He's a liar. We're not saying the guy's a liar. It's just not strong enough.
You're what's it called? Right? Now there are cases by witnesses that the witness themselves are disqualified, but in general, just because the testimony is disqualified, it doesn't mean. So that's the question here. Is so since she started out and when we didn't believe her, so are we disqualifying her or we're disqualifying her testimony? So the Rashba is saying that no, we just because we didn't believe her testimony, it's because it doesn't qualify for what we can believe for what we can accept. However, it does. We didn't disqualify her. It doesn't give her that she's that she has we have the presumption on her that she's a liar. But rather, now that it's in front of her husband, now she's trusted. But here came in the Gemara B'Ksubis, and he proved this from the Gemara in Ksubis. Bedin shnayim emrim meis v'shnayim emrim loy meis v'chulu. Right? Two witnesses says he died, and two witnesses says the husband didn't die. Shehikshu sham, it asks there the isha she'amra l'bayla yerashtani ne'menes. So over there it asks, wait a second, but if a woman says in front of her husband that he divorced me, she's trusted. The afal pisha shami tchila lahayz before now. And even though in that case she began by being chutzpahdik not in front of her husband, Eina asuya lahachzik sheikra hasht b'fnei baila. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop her chazaka now that she can now say in front of her husband. And some of the later sages they disagreed with this proof that he brought. And later on in this subsection, in this is that what we call it, the subsection. Yeah, Hevi Mechaber Mitchuvas Harosh that the Mechaber brings from the Chuvas of the Rosh. She'im Niseis La'acher Shlei B'fnei Baila, if she marries somebody else not in front of her husband, Afal Pi Shekisheba Baila Imeres Lei B'fnei Gerashtani Imeres, that even that in that case we see that even later when the husband comes, she's not believed, right? Because we see that they would have to redo the kedushin. But you can answer here. This does not contradict the words of the Rashba. That's specifically in the case where she accepted kedushin, not in front of her husband. Okay, the cost of time, and like the reason it was written there, the kivan shekfarni says meiza shleitas atzmazayna, that over there, meaning since she already betrothed another person, she basically caught herself in a catch-22 there. So we can't learn out from that to here, because in the case where like we said in one of the prior sivkatans, right, that over here, that in the case where she just says she divorced me, she's not getting married to somebody yet. Over here, she's already accepted betrothal from somebody. So then she's already meaning. So now the chutzpah goes both ways, because the chutzpah is the chutzpah shall after her husband, but also she's going to try. She should rather be a chutzpah than protect herself. That she shouldn't give herself the name of a loose woman.
Right.
And that which the mechaber brings there, that even if she doesn't now, niseis is like she actually got married, meaning they consummated the marriage, right? So in that case, right, we're saying, wait a second, here she consummated the marriage. Okay, if she consummated the marriage while she's still married to the other person, she's an Eishes Ish. She had relations with somebody while she's the wife of somebody else. So then she's going to have the chutzpah to want to get herself out of it. So wait a second, but how about the fact that Mechaber says over there that not only if it's consummated, but even just betrothed and not consummated? Mikol makim yesh leimer dahainu davka kishnizkat shel ha'acher she'osisa ma'aseh. That even there, it's specifically she did an act, meaning she accepted the ring, right? There's an action there. But not with speech alone. That speech alone is not enough to it's not enough to mess up her chazaka. That now she's going to have the chutzpah, and therefore, in the case of just she says Geirash Tani, it's still different, right? Even in the case of accepting a betrothal, because that's already we see a chutzpah over there by accepting a betrothal. But some of the earlier sages wrote specifically Dafil Bamiris and Nisgarashti Gerida. Achar she'amra she'isha shalei b'fanav iza he afshe shalei b'fanav. That gam in gavi abal achar zman kivon she'id b'fanav shalei b'fanav. So they say no, even by speech it's the same thing. Why? Because since she already said it not in front of him, right? It already took down some of her level of chutzpah. She's already halfway there. So now it's not such a big step to say it in front of him, because now she already said it and people know she said it, right? Like we said before, if she says it, it doesn't mean she says it privately. If it's not in front of him, so in front of who did she say it? I mean, she said it publicly, that my husband divorced me. So now he's coming in front of her, even though usually you would say she won't have the chutzpah to do this. But here, because she already said it publicly, so it's going to be a chutzpah for her to now say I was lying. So therefore, she's going to, once she started the lie, she's going to continue it. And therefore, we say that in that case, even by speaking, she's still going to, once she started saying it, even not in front of him, then in front of him, it's not such a big chutzpah. Even there's also some of the earlier sages that took the side that that being that, right, even though she claimed it not in front of her husband, but it already went out in front of the public. So then she's going to have the chutzpah to say even in front of him, to uphold the words that's already publicized. you posted it on Facebook already. So now if she didn't post anything and she just says in front of her husband, you divorced me. So then we can trust her because she's not going to have the chutzpah. But once she already said it and it got publicized, then it's not such a big step, because now she has to not lose face since it was a public thing. So some of the achreinim hold that lechatchila you should hold by this, that even things that are gonna even things that are gonna come out, she's still we hold her a liar. So therefore she cannot get married. We're not gonna, meaning we're holding her a liar still, just even once she said it not in front of her husband. They say, and therefore, based on this, right? So she goes and says it not in front of him, then she says it in front of him. So some say we can still accept it. Some say absolutely not. And some of the Achronim write that you have to still worry, even though they don't hold that way, but you have to worry about this opinion. And therefore, she should not get married in the first place. You don't let her marry, right? You make her get a get. But if she got married already, you don't make them get divorced. And some say no, she's completely trusted. And this means even in the first place. And on the flip side, there's that wrote that you have to basically worry about all the stringencies of all the opinions here. And therefore we force her to get divorced from the first husband and from the second husband. We force her to get divorced from both of them because you have to take the stringencies from both sides. So that's one opinion. So one opinion says no, she's married to the first one. One opinion says she's married to the second one. Another opinion says, well, in the first place, you don't let her get married, and but if she's already married, you don't take her out, meaning you trust her. If she already married somebody else, and some say nope, you actually have to worry about this to the point where
they're both. Take them out of both marriages. It's not.
Yeah, she's still divorced everybody. Okay, so we're by Chafei. I have to go. I'm gonna go do school pickup. Let me turn off the